It's a common saying among screenwriters that you have to grab the audience within the first 10 pages of a script, the opening sequence. That's 10 minutes or less to form an emotional connection with the main characters and set up what's at stake in the story.
I'm not even sure how my writing process works until I'm asked to describe it, but I think it works this way.
When crafting the opening sequence for Marriage Story, director Noah Baumbach had to figure out how to get the audience quickly invested in the marriage of Charlie and Nicole. He accomplished this by using a simple but effective device.
What I love about Nicole.
What I love about Charlie.
Voiceover narration from the perspective of both Charlie and Nicole, each explaining what they love about each other. So today, I want to explore how Baumbach uses this device to make us care about the characters and their relationship, to examine the way he establishes an organic visual language to create a sense of intimacy, and to look at how all this culminates in a surprising reveal that pulls the rug out from under us, all in the first 9 minutes. Let's sit down with writer and director Noah Baumbach and take a look at the opening sequence of Marriage Story.
Hi, I'm Noah Baumbach, and this is the opening sequence.
What I love about Nicole. She's always inexplicably brewing a cup of tea that she doesn't drink.
Before the audience can get to know the main characters, the writer has to get to know them. And this device of Charlie and Nicole sharing what they love about each other actually began as a writing exercise for Noah Baumbach.
I wrote the sequences, the what I love about Nicole and what I love about Charlie, almost as an exercise for myself, because I wanted to explore the kind of ordinary moments of their marriage, but in doing so, reveal kind of what makes them extraordinary. I realized I had a device I could use for the movie at large, so it became an exercise that at first I gave to myself and then I gave to the characters.
This technique is an efficient way to express exposition, information the audience needs in order to understand the story and the characters. As Charlie and Nicole describe what they love about each other, we, the audience, learn that Nicole sacrificed a film career in LA to be with Charlie.
After that movie All Over the Girl, she could have stayed in LA and been a movie star, but she gave that up to do theater with me in New York.
While Charlie is thriving in New York as a theater director.
He moved to New York from Indiana with no safety net, and now he's more a New Yorker than any New Yorker.
It's important to understand these key differences between the characters, because they will be critical sources of conflict as the film progresses. But knowing their backstories isn't enough. The audience needs to be invested in the characters and their relationship.
Really, it was about capturing, in a kind of observational way, these big and small moments. It was also a way to introduce their world.
And it's not easy for her to put away a sock or close a cabinet or do a dish, but she tries for me.
New York City, life with a child. There were just little things, but in the context of our lives, they're giant.
We become invested in their relationship through this montage of intimate, ordinary moments. But the writing is only one of the tools used to create a feeling of intimacy in the opening minutes of Marriage Story. It also comes through in the free-flowing cinematography. Noah Baumbach films are usually shot in a formal style.
But Robbie, Ryan, the DP, and I knew that we wanted to kind of bring some kind of different feeling and immediacy to these opening shots, so we did all of that handheld.
By shooting the opening sequence handheld, Baumbach makes us feel like we're dropping in on real, organic moments in these characters' lives.
Scarlett and Adam and Eji, who plays Henry, they were all so natural with each other. There wasn't a lot of artifice in that. They could actually just play Monopoly and enjoy it, or get angry for real.
Frustrating!
They could really find truth in all these sort of stage activities that I gave them.
It's not just the way the camera moves, but the aspect ratio of the image itself that creates a more intimate framing. narrowing the typical widescreen ratio to focus in on the characters' faces. Aspect ratio is simply the width to height ratio of an image. This ratio can be expressed with two numbers like 4:3 or 16:9, or with decimals like 1.66, 1.85, or 2.35.
I knew the movie was going to be about faces in some ways. We shot in a 1:66 aspect ratio, which is slightly narrower on the sides than sort of traditional 1:8.5 and certainly than widescreen, because I like the portraiture of it.
Together, the screenwriting, acting, and cinematography in this sequence give us an intimate portrait of a loving family. But just as we begin to feel invested in Nicole and Charlie's marriage, Baumbach shatters our expectations with a sudden reveal. In the final moments of the opening sequence, we see why Charlie and Nicole are sharing the things they love about each other.
Who wants to start?
They're in mediation for divorce.
We pull the rug out from under you after 7 minutes of this kind of romantic suite.
I'm not going to read this out loud.
Why is that?
Because I don't like what I wrote.
The visual language in this final beat isolates them from each other. The camera is no longer handheld. Instead, it's locked down in static shots, placing Charlie and Nicole in separate frames, showing how far apart they've grown.
Visually, that was a way to create a distinction between this sort of previous life and the sort of transformative life that they're having to go through and rediscover.
Things can get quite contentious. For it to really work, you both have to read.
I'm not going to.
It also gives the audience a little bit of the jolt that prepares them, I think, for what's lying ahead.
Together, all this sets up the conflict for the entire movie and asks the dramatic question: what will happen to the life Charlie and Nicole built together now that their marriage is coming apart? Through the clever use of Charlie and Nicole's subjective narration, and by ending with the sudden reveal of their breakup, Baumbach's opening sequence perfectly sets the stage for the emotional journey of Marriage Story.